Today is Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. I'll be reading the New Bedford Stanford Times. The weather today is humid with a shower and a thunderstorm. The highs 81, lows 70. On Thursday, it will be humid with clouds and sun, high 87, lows 69. On Friday, it will be hot with a thunderstorm in spots, high 90, lows 69. The first story is Bristol Community College now free for everyone in Massachusetts, by Dan Medeiros, the Herald News USA Today Network, Fall River. If you have never gotten a college degree, Bristol Community College is now literally giving them away for free as long as you study and earn it. Governor Maura Healey on Monday signed into law the $57.78 billion fiscal 2025 state budget, which in part establishes the Mass Educate program, a new initiative that makes every community college in the state free for anyone who has never earned a degree. The program will pay all your tuition and fees and provide a stipend for books and supplies for some students. This means that now, more than ever, higher education is within reach, stated Bristol Community College President Laura L. Douglas. Here's what you need to know about the Mass Educate program. How much does the Mass Education program cost? The state budget allocates $93.5 million to fund the program. Who is eligible for the Mass Educate program? Anyone without a prior college degree is eligible for the program and can earn a college degree. All 15 community colleges statewide, including Bristol, are participating. There are no limits on a student's age or income level. Wasn't community college already free? No. Massachusetts previously has had a program called Mass Reconnect, which extends free community college tuition to those 25 or older without a degree. This new program, which builds off that one, removes the age limit and makes free community college open to students right out of high school. Are there any other benefits to Mass Educate? The program provides an allowance of up to $1,200 per academic year toward books, supplies, and other expenses based on your household income. Mass Reconnect also has a stipend for supplies up to $600. Do people actually take advantage of this program? Yes, according to enrollment figures at Bristol, after Mass Reconnect was implemented in August 2023, the college's enrollment from the spring 2023 to spring 2024 semesters increased by 7.4%. There was a 16.3% rise in Black, Indigenous, people of color students, and almost 31% increase in the number of adult learners. Mass Reconnect has demonstrated students' eagerness to pursue their educational goals. Free community college benefits all in the community, not just those obtaining a degree, Douglas stated. Supporting a higher level of education attainment and less debt is a long-term investment in the region's workforce, contributing to a stronger economy, greater equity, and healthier communities, she added. State Senator Michael J. Rodriguez, D. Westport, chairman of the Senate Committee on Ways and Means, said the measure is a transformative investment that will help build the state's workforce. These historic measures enable residents to remain in the state, solidifying our economic future for generations to come, said Rodriguez. Can people use the Mass Education program to enroll in the fall? Yes, those interested in enrolling in college and taking advantage of the Mass Educate program should complete the free application for Federal Student Aid or FAFSA as soon as possible. Feast of the Blessed Sacrament. Festival begins Thursday in New Bedford. Women to serve as fiestras for the first time in events history. Lourdes C. Del Silva. The Herald News USA Today Network. New Bedford. The 108th Feast of the Blessed Sacrament promises to be a momentous occasion as women will serve as fiestras, committee members for the first time in the Madeiran celebration's history, and organizers have introduced new ethnic foods and drinks and boosted Portuguese entertainment. Expected to draw 200,000 people, the feast is a mix of religious rituals, Portuguese cuisine, free entertainment, carnival rides and games, kids' activities, and a parade. It will take place from Thursday, August 1st to Sunday, August 4th at Madeira Field in the north end of New Bedford. Here's what you need to know before you go. What are the hours of the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament? Thursday, August 1st from 6 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. Friday, August 2nd, 5 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, August 3rd through 4th, noon to 11:45 p.m. What's on schedule for Thursday night's opening ceremony? The celebration will kick off with the assembly of the fiestras at the intersection of Earl Street and Ashnet Avenue at 5 p.m. They will march in a special procession to Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Church for a special benediction to the Blessed Sacrament. This will be followed by the placement of a floral wreath at the memorial stone to the feast's four founders on the corner of Madeira Field, where the official opening ceremony will take place at 6 p.m. Special guests will include the president of Casa do Povo de Camacha and various state officials and city officials. What musical group will headline the feast? The world-renowned Grupo Folcloria de Casa de Pavo de Camacha from Madeira Island will perform daily at 8 p.m. on the feast's main stage. With a repertoire spanning centuries, old traditions, the 30-plus member group embodies the spirit of Madeiran folklore, showcasing the Portuguese island's authentic music, dance, and heritage through their colorful costumes and lively performances. Members of the group are also expected to conduct workshops throughout the feast to teach feastgoers some basic Madeiran folk dance steps and about traditional costumes and instruments. What live music is at the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament? Thursday, August 1st, Badfish, a Sublime tribute band, performs at 10 to 11:30 p.m. Others performers include Freeze Pops, Something Else, Nadia and Carmen, Full Tilt, and Sharon and Kenny. At the Museum Cafe, Fado singer Sonia Betancourt will perform from 8 to 11:30 p.m., accompanied by guitarist Vietro Ferreira and Loke de Silva. Friday, August 2nd, Foo Fighters tribute band Foo's Fighters will perform from 10 to 11:30 p.m. Other performers include Get the Funk Out, Marvin and G, Cadence and Company, Edge, and Little Lies. At the Museum Cafe, Betancourt will perform again from 8 to 11:30 p.m. Saturday, August 3rd, Portuguese-American singer Nelia will headline from 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Other performers include Hallie Grace, Hardwire, Play by Play, Elvis, Morrissey Boulevard, Double Impact, and Jackson Neves. At the Museum Cafe, Fado singer Ana Vinagre will perform from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Sunday, August 4th, New Bedford-based Band Faith performs from 10 to 11:30 p.m. Other performers include Corey Sister, Jake Jensen, Rebecca Courier, Perry Solo, Fred Medeiros, Lacey Cheryl 5, and DJ Gazelle. At the Museum Cafe, Fado singer-guitarist Jackson Neves will perform from 5 to 7 p.m. What food is available at the Blessed Sacrament Feast? Whether one prefers a carne de esposo, linguine, cacola or bifani sandwich, or a complete meal of Portuguese-style chicken, beef, goat, or tuna with potatoes, rice, and vegetables under the pavilion, the feast will offer something to please every palate. Visitors can buy sirloin steak cubes, add their own favorite spices, and cook them on a steel skewer over glowing coals in a 40-foot-long pit. They can also enjoy some freshly made milho frito or bolo do cacao, or sip a glass of Madeira wine. On Saturday, children under 12 will eat free from noon to 4 p.m., and senior citizens will enjoy a choice of menu dinner at 50% discount under the main pavilion. Does the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament cost money to get in? Getting into the feast is free. Food and drinks operate on a ticket system. About a dozen ticket machines will be scattered around the grounds, and some of them take credit cards. To buy alcoholic drinks, guests must acquire a wristband from one of the designated booths on the grounds using a valid driver's license. What's a good activity for kids? The kids program on Saturday afternoon will feature a wrestling ring near Stage 2. Other activities will include Disney characters, baby goats from Hidden Gems Farm, axe throwing by the Boy Scouts of America, and a Discovery Learning Laboratory. Can I bring a cooler to the feast? Are any items prohibited? Organizers have put into place security measures, including the use of metal detectors, to assure that attending the feast is safe and enjoyable. No coolers, backpacks, oversized purses, drones, selfie sticks, tripods, GoPro, or video cameras will be allowed on the feast grounds. Where can you park your car? Street parking may be scarce. Joe Adeo, the owner of a car dealership on the old Cliff Tex Mill property on Bellevue Avenue, will offer parking on his lot for a fee. For more information about the feast, visit https://feastoftheblessedsacrament.com, ning.com. When is the Feast of the Blessed Sacrament Parade? The parade steps off on Sunday at 2 p.m. from Brookline Park and will proceed down Ashnet Avenue before turning left onto Earl Street and turning left again onto the feast grounds. This is the New Bedford Stanford Times, July 31st. Study: GLP-1 could slow Alzheimer's. Researchers say drugs might reduce memory and thinking problems. Ken Altucker, USA Today. A popular new class of medication sheds pounds, treats diabetes, and reduces heart disease risk. Can these drugs also protect the brain from memory and thinking problems? People who took Novo Nordisk's liraglutide for 1 year had an 18% slower cognitive decline compared with those who got a placebo, according to a study unveiled Tuesday at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference. Researchers cautioned the study did not recruit enough patients to draw broad conclusions, but the pharmaceutical company that sells liraglutide, Novo Nordisk, is studying the cognitive effects on a larger group of patients. The study suggests the class of drugs known as GLP-1 agonists, approved for diabetes, weight loss, and to reduce the risk of heart disease, also might protect the brain. Dr. Paul Edison, a professor of science at Imperial College in London, who led the study, was set to present more details about the research during a Tuesday afternoon session at the AAIC meeting in Philadelphia. The single-center study hasn't been peer-reviewed by a medical journal. The UK study enrolled 204 patients with mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease who are randomly assigned to get a daily injection of liraglutide or a placebo for 1 year. Liraglutide is sold under the brand name Saxenda for weight loss and Victoza for diabetes treatment. All patients had MRIs to check for brain volumes and PET scans to monitor glucose metabolism. The brain scans were done at the start of the Phase 2 study and repeated after 1 year. Study participants received cognitive tests at the start of the study, 24 weeks later, and 1 year later. The most common side effects among people who took liraglutide were nausea and stomach problems. About 1 in 4 people who experienced side effects reported gastro issues. Complaints of digestive issues are common among the millions of Americans who take GLP-1 agnostics for weight loss or diabetes. This category of drugs also includes the newer Novo Nordisk medications, Ozempic for diabetes and Wegovy for weight loss, as well as Eli Lilly drugs Mounjaro for diabetes and Zepbound for weight loss. Brains shrank less, memory loss slowed. This study didn't meet its main goal or endpoint, which was based on changes in the brain's glucose metabolism rate, but it did report improvements in memory and other thinking skills among people who took the active drug. Cognitive scores were calculated via a common test called the Alzheimer's Disease Assessment Scale, which includes 18 measures of memory, comprehension, language, and spatial orientation. The 79 study participants who completed 1 year of treatment had 18% less decline than 87% participants who got a placebo. Brain scans showed those who received liraglutide lost nearly 50% less volume in the frontal, temporal, parietal, and total gray matter areas of the brain that control memory, learning, language, and decision-making. It leads us to really think about the promise of these types of new medications for Alzheimer's disease or other types of dementia, said Dr. Rebecca Eldermeyer, Senior Director of Scientific Engagement for the Alzheimer's Association. Edison said the research is the first to suggest GLP-1 drugs might slow memory and thinking problems in Alzheimer's patients. What it's doing is providing some neuroprotective function, Edison told USA Today. If patients were to get the drug early on in the disease trajectory, that 18% over a period of time can have a significant benefit. But obviously, we need to test that in the larger study. What the study didn't measure. Even though study participants received multiple brain scans, researchers didn't check whether they had a measurable difference in amyloid beta plaques, a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease, nor did researchers check for the protein tau, which cling together and form tangles in brain cells. Drug companies largely have focused on attacking amyloid beta as a way to slow Alzheimer's, an incurable disease that afflicts 6.9 million Americans. Earlier this month, the FDA approved Eli Lilly's Alzheimer's drug donanemab, shown in studies to slow the early stages of the disease. Last year, the FDA approved Eisai and Biogen's drug Leqembi, which also slowed cognitive decline in people with early stages of the disease. Both drugs remove amyloid from the brains of Alzheimer's patients. Edison said his research did not measure amyloid because they felt it would have asked too much from study participants who already had to take daily injections as well as brain scans and medical assessments. He said a larger study involving an oral version of semaglutide will measure amyloid beta and tau in patients. A 3-year clinical study of semaglutide sold under the brand names Ozempic and Wegovy is underway in more than 1,800 people with early Alzheimer's disease. Edison said the follow-up studies might provide more clues to how GLP-1 medications counter other Alzheimer's factors such as brain inflammation and insulin resistance. In animal studies, he noted these medications showed they might help combat the disease by reducing amyloid and protecting the connections between brain cells. Because this study, Liraguide, appears to protect the brain, Edison said the theory needs to be tested in a larger study over a longer period. The assumption is the trajectory of these changes will carry on over a period of time, Edison said. Back to school time is here for some. School calendars vary from state to state. Mary Walrath, Holdridge, and Kinsey Crowley, USA Today. The weather outside may be sweltering, but summer is already coming to an end for some students in the U.S. Depending on where you live, kids in your community may be starting school this week, while others have an entire month or more left before they need to hit the stores for new backpacks and pencils. In fact, research shows there is more than a month between some of the earliest and latest back-to-school start dates. In the Southeast, for example, kids are headed back to school before July ends, while others in areas like the Northeast are still smack dab in the middle of summer. By July 25th, all students in Lamar County, Mississippi, were back in school. Atlanta Public Schools welcomes kids back on Thursday. Students in Buffalo, New York, however, won't see the inside of a classroom until September 1st or later, while kids in Chicago Public Schools District will be returning on August 26th. An analysis of more than 13,000 public school districts conducted in 2019 by the Pew Research Center found that in broad terms, schools in the South and Southwest tend to return to school earlier than those in the Northwest and along the Pacific Coast. Not a single district, however, in the New England and Middle Atlantic states went back until late August. Some districts that operate on so-called modified year-round calendars begin in late July. Why do summer breaks vary so much from coast to coast? You may have heard the popular explanation that school schedules historically were based largely around the agrarian culture. It is a common belief that education had to be tailored around the cycle of crop growth and harvest, meaning this theoretically meant Southern children left school earlier and went back earlier. In reality, however, it is more likely those children helping on the farm would be needed in the spring during planting and the fall during harvest, not the steamy summer months. This explanation may be rooted in some truth, but experts say it's more likely most school schedules were tailored around the community's needs. What factors go into choosing back-to-school dates? Other major considerations are weather before the advent of air conditioning. You did not want to be in a schoolhouse in the South in the peak of summer. Local and national holidays, collective bargaining agreements, government funding and regulations. For example, the New York State Department of Education limits when schools can be in session, aid or funding. They have to adhere to these guidelines. In short, decisions around school calendars reflect the kind of tension between central and local governance that characterizes and sustains a democratic republic, Gorlewski said. Parents and teachers weigh in. My kids go back the day after Labor Day, and I like starting in September because we get to enjoy the summer, said Julia Fuller, whose kids go to a public school in Jefferson County, New York. I would love year-round with more breaks to alleviate the need for childcare for 2 straight months, though. Emily Semerel, a former teacher and mother of 3 children attending school in Greenville, South Carolina, said she prefers the start dates that are common in southern states. As a parent and a former teacher, I think the earlier start dates work well, she said, for all teachers and middle high school students to be able to finish the second quarter, first semester prior to winter break is ideal. We're ready, Andrea Simmons, principal at Albany Middle School, also told USA Today. Students in the Dougherty County, Georgia, are headed back on Wednesday, which is slightly earlier than the usual August start date. However, he thinks the adjustment is overall better for the school's teachers and pupils. After the pandemic, we realized that we have got to space things out because we have an emotional mental health crisis going on, he said. So we need to give people more time, especially teachers. And while you might expect all students to dread going back, Simmons says some of his pupils have told them they're ready. I think they miss their friends and they're just ready to be back, Simmons said. In short, decisions around school calendars reflect the kind of tension between central and local governance that characterizes and sustains a democratic republic. Obituaries. There's one obituary today. Dartmouth, Roger Thomas Fontaine, 82 of Dartmouth, passed away Thursday, July 25th, 2024, in Tremont Rehab and Skilled Care Center, surrounded by his loving family. He was the husband of the late Charlotte F. Fontaine. Born in New Bedford, a son of the late Nelson and Edith Richards Fontaine. He was a maintenance worker for several years and worked for American Dryer Corporation and Borg Warner Automotive. He is survived by his loving children, Leonard Fontaine of New Bedford, Melanie Melancon, and her husband, David of Dartmouth. 3 grandchildren, Amanda, Nicole, and Michael. He was the brother of the late Doris Brindle of New Bedford. Arrangements are in the care of Rock Funeral Home, 1285 Ashley Boulevard, New Bedford, Mass. To leave a note of condolence, please go to www.rock-funeral-home-com. Controversial call goes against Gauff. Tennis star Coco Gauff, who was chosen as the Olympic opening ceremony flag bearer for the Team U.S., is out of the women's singles competition after losing 7-6, 6-2 to Donna Vicak of Croatia. Ranked number 2 in the world, Gauff still has a chance to take home medals in doubles and mixed doubles, but her performance Tuesday was surprising and disappointing given how solid she looked in the first 2 rounds of the tournament and her strong track record on the clay of Roland Garros during the French Open. A medal is the main goal, the 20-year-old Gauff said. I just have to go to the locker room and reset and get ready. It is also a result with some controversy attached. Down 7-6, 3-2 in a match that was tightly contested all the way through, Gauff faced a massive break point at 30-40. As she retreated to hit a backhand, the linesperson made an out call simultaneous with Gauff's swing and seemingly before she completed the motion with her racket. Gauff immediately decelerated, causing a miss. She believed the point should have been replayed, which is the rule if the out call impacts her play on the ball. But the chair umpire saw it differently, overruling the out call and awarding the point to Vicak. A 5-minute argument ensued in which Gauff called the tournament supervisor and appeared to be crying, while at one point saying she consistently felt cheated by similar calls and also referenced officiating controversies involving Serena Williams. Shortly after the match, Gauff lamented the fact that tennis does not use a video replay system to adjudicate situations where there's a split-second judgment call that is difficult to make. I mean, there's been multiple times this year where that happened to me, where I feel like I always have to be, an advocate for myself on the court, Gauff said. And I feel like in tennis, we should have a review system because, these points are big deals. And yeah, usually afterwards they apologize. So it's kind of frustrating, Sorry doesn't help you once a match is over. When the match ensued, Gauff had an opportunity to get it back on serve in the next game, getting 0-40 on Vic's serve as the crowd began to boo the umpire and get a bit rowdy. But Vicak managed to settle down, reel in the break points, and stretch out to a 5-2 lead. A rattled Gauff was then easily broken, allowing Vicak, who recently made the Wimbledon semifinals, to advance. I mean, it's a very tricky situation, Vicak said. I personally thought the umpire made a good decision because the call came quite late, but I have to rewatch it. It's tough to know exactly in the moment. But yeah, after that with the crowd, it was not so easy. I lost my concentrations for a couple of points, but I'm happy that I managed to come back in that game because it was an important game. Still, even Gauff didn't blame the loss on one controversial call. The fact is, she seemed on her way to an easy first set win, but couldn't secure a second break and played a poor game at 5-3 while trying to serve it out. Then in the tiebreaker, Gauff made a poor choice to try a drop shot at 7-7 when she had control of the rally, pushing it to the net. Gauff was also up a break early in the second set before quickly holding it back. Today was a tough match, and I just have to figure out how to do it better in those moments without closing out those sets, she said.
We've reached the end of our reading of the New Bedford Standard Times, dated Wednesday, July 31st. Have a great day.